Welcome to Expert Mom. Doing mornings with 5 kids. Right now I have 4 kids I'm doing mornings with before school. Very challenging. This is where my weakness has crept in as a mom, and I have yelled. And so what I have had to do is figure out some conditions and consequences in order for our mornings to run smoothly. And as of now, we are doing really well. And once I put this stipulation in effect, wow, it sure made a huge difference in our mornings. So I don't know about you, but I do have a few kids that have a really hard time waking up in the morning, and it's slow motion, which is very challenging when we have to be at 2 to 3 schools in the morning. And so it's just really challenging. And so what I have incorporated is a few conditions, and then they have a consequence if they don't meet the conditions. So one, they need to be in the car at a certain time. So for me, it's 7:50. You need to be in the car at 7:50. If you're not in the car at 7:50, then your consequence will be you need to go to bed earlier that night. So it could be, for me, it was a whole hour, but you could decide that, you know, how much earlier you want that to be. But anyway, so they would have to go to bed earlier that night because they obviously needed more sleep to be able to wake up quicker and get going quicker and all of that. So that's one thing that I have incorporated, but it's so important to follow through with your consequence. If they're not in the car, if they're outside of the car, they're not inside the car at 7:50, whatever time you choose, then give them the consequence, because that's where you really see how effective this tactic works, is when they've experienced the tactic and they sat in their room at 7 p.m. at night instead of hanging out with a family. So anyway, increase their amount of sleep time if they don't meet the time period, the 7:50 time period. Anyway, now a few other things, some conditions that they have had to meet is all shoes and coats need to go in a certain area, and because we had issues where we would be missing a shoe or a library book. So the backpack needs to be packed the night before, as well as when you take your shoes off, it's always in the same place, and your coat's always in the same place. And so that also has helped with just making things a little smoother. And it just, a whole process needs to take place, just getting to that root of what the issue is, instead of standing there yelling at the kids. And it's not effective just standing there yelling at them because they are trying to find their shoe. I'm like yelling, where'd you put your shoe? It just becomes kind of a hostile environment. And so we don't want to create that. We don't want to drop the kid off and they've just experienced their mom yelling at them. Okay, even though it was, you know, they were the ones that were in slow-mo all morning, still, moms, we shouldn't be yelling at our kids. And so put some tactics in place and it will definitely make a difference. All right, thanks, and love those kids.